The Colosseum, an iconic symbol of ancient Rome, was a massive arena used for gladiatorial games and public spectacles. It stands as one of the greatest architectural achievements of the ancient world, and a remarkable testament to Roman ingenuity. The Colosseum wasn't just impressive above ground, it had a hidden world beneath the arena floor that brought the spectacles to life. This underground network featured tunnels and chambers where gladiators prepared for battle. Wild animals were kept and elaborate stage effects were orchestrated. It wasn't just an amphitheater, it was a masterpiece of design, a showcase of power, innovation, and the Roman spirit of spectacle. But how is this possible? How did the Romans create such spectacles 2,000 years ago? How did they flood the arena for naval battles or summon gladiators and wild animals seemingly out of nowhere? In this video, we'll step behind the scenes to uncover the secrets of the Colosseum, exploring its ingenious design and the groundbreaking mechanics that made it the greatest arena of its time. The Colosseum sits right in the location and surrounding landmarks heart of Rome, Italy. And it's one of the most famous landmarks in the world. This place wasn't just about gladiator battles, it was the center of a bustling part of the music city. Let's travel back in time to explore what the area around the Colosseum looked like during its prime. This is the Ludus Magnus, the largest gladiatorial school in Rome. Gladiators lived, ate, and trained here as they prepared for the games held at the Colosseum. This is Metasudance, a large conical-shaped fountain estimated to have stood up to 17 meters tall. According to legend, the surviving gladiators went to the Meta to refresh and cleanse their wounds after the games. This is the Arch of Constantine, a monumental tribute to Emperor Constantine the Great and the largest Roman triumphal arch. Standing 21 meters high and 26 meters wide, it symbolizes the power of victories of Rome, serving as an enduring testament to the might of the empire. This is the Temple of Venus and Roma, thought to have been the largest temple in ancient Rome. It consisted of two main chambers arranged symmetrically back to back, each housing a cult statue of a god: Venus, the goddess of love, and Roma, the goddess of Rome. This is the Colossus of Nero, a massive 30-meter bronze statue that was originally depicting Emperor Nero, later adapted to represent Sol, the sun god. It is thought to have inspired the name of the Colosseum. The original name of the Colosseum was the Flavian Amphitheater, named after the Flavian dynasty of emperors who built it. Size, scale, and construction. Standing over 50 meters tall and stretching 189 meters long by 156 meters wide, he was even surpassing the height of the Statue of Liberty from base to torch. Its massive size was a clear statement of Rome's engineering skills and ambition, demonstrating to the world that nothing was beyond their reach. It could accommodate a crowd of more than 50,000 spectators, making it the largest Roman amphitheater ever built, comparable in scale to a modern stadium. The arena floor, measuring 83 meters by 48 meters, was large enough to fit nearly a dozen tennis courts. It was composed of a wooden floor covered with sand to absorb blood and provide traction for the gladiators. The name arena comes from the Latin word haerina, meaning sand. Construction of the Colosseum began in 72 AD and was completed just 8 years later, with an additional 2 years for the finishing touches. Its rapid construction highlights the Roman Empire's exceptional resources, manpower, and organizational ability. The foundation of the Colosseum is a key reason it's still standing today. Due to poor soil conditions, a deep, strong foundation was necessary to stabilize the structure. A ring-shaped foundation, 12 meters thick, was built with 2 layers of ancient Roman music concrete. The Colosseum was divided into exterior design and architecture 4 levels. The first 3 levels featured a series of arches supported by columns, each representing one of the 3 orders of ancient Greek architecture. Doric on the first level, the simplest and earliest Greek style. Ionic on the second level was more elegant than the Doric style, and Corinthian on the third level, the most elaborate of the Greek styles. The Colosseum's use of the 3 classical orders arranged from the ground up was a design choice that showcased a progression of architectural style and reflected Rome's adaptation of Greek architectural traditions, Each arch on the second and third level featured statues honoring divinities and other figures from classical mythology. These statues weren't merely decorative, they served as reminders of Rome's divine connection and cultural heritage, reinforcing the grandeur of the structure. The Colosseum's fourth level, known as the attic, featured a solid wall adorned with small rectangular windows. Large decorative shields were placed at regular intervals and complemented by Corinthian pilasters. This architectural choice was not merely decorative, it served a functional purpose by supporting the velarium, a massive retractable awning that provided shade for spectators, which we'll discuss later in this video. Entrances. The amphitheater had 80 entrances at ground level, 76 of which were numbered to efficiently manage the flow of the general public, directing spectators to their assigned seats with ease. This advanced crowd management system highlighted Roman expertise in urban planning, showcasing their ability to seamlessly cater to massive gatherings, an innovation as functional as the systems used in modern stadiums today. The remaining 4 entrances were grand entrances reserved for the elite. They were unnumbered and placed at the cardinal points around the Colosseum. The south entrance was used by the emperor to access the imperial box called the Pulvinar. Its exclusive use symbolized the emperor's authority and reinforced the social hierarchy of Roman society. The north entrance was used by the magistrates to access the magistrate seating area. Magistrates were high-ranking officials responsible for various administrative and judicial duties within the Roman government, reflecting their prominent status in society. 2 entrances had direct access to the arena. The east entrance, known as the Gate of Life, was used by the gladiators to parade before their combat and exit after a victory. The west entrance was known as the Gate of Death and was used to carry away the dead bodies of gladiators and animals. The contrasting entrances of the Colosseum's arena symbolize the stark dichotomy between life and death that define the experiences within its walls. Seating. The seating at the Colosseum was divided into 4 main sections that reflected the social hierarchy of ancient Rome. The closer to the arena, the higher the status of the occupants. The lowest tier was reserved for senators and other elite members of society. Their proximity to the action reflected their influence. They enjoyed the best view of the spectacles. The second tier of the Colosseum was reserved for the equites or the equestrian class positioned just below the senatorial class. The equites were a noble class involved in various roles within the Roman government. The third tier was reserved for Roman citizens and was divided into 2 sections. The lower section accommodated wealthier Roman citizens, while the upper section was designated for poorer citizens. This arrangement reflected the economic disparities even within the general public, providing a clear glimpse into the stratification of Roman society. At the very top is the 4th tier that was added later, after the inauguration of the Colosseum, during the reign of Emperor Domitian. The seating in this section was made of wood and was reserved for the lowest class of people and slaves. Despite being farthest from the action, the tier still allowed the less privileged to witness events, underscoring the Colosseum's role as a unifying space for all Romans. One of the most extraordinary naval battle spectacles ever held in the Colosseum were the naval battles, or nomachi. These events turned the arena into a water basin where warships reenacted famous naval conflicts. But how did this work? How could an amphitheater designed for gladiatorial games suddenly transform into a lake? These displays weren't just about entertainment. They were demonstrations of Rome's engineering prowess and its ability to manipulate its environment. To stage these events, the wooden arena floor and its supporting pillars were removed, creating a basin that could be flooded to simulate naval combat. At the time, the underground structures seen today had not yet been constructed and were added later. Water was supplied from nearby aqueducts and flowed through a network of underground channels carved into the concrete foundation beneath the arena. It then entered a channel surrounding the arena, distributing water through a series of outlets to flood the arena. The flooding process would have taken several hours. Once the basin was filled, pneumaki could begin. The ships were crewed by condemned prisoners and slaves who reenacted historic naval battles and fought to the death until one side was entirely annihilated. After the battles, water drained through the system of 4 channels beneath the arena, which were connected to the sewer system and also served to manage rainfall. This design allowed for rapid transitions between events, ensuring the arena could be quickly reset with a wooden floor for the Hypogeum spectacle. About a decade after the Colosseum's inauguration, a 2-story masonry structure called the Hippium was built beneath the arena floor. This underground complex served as the backstage area for gladiators, animals, and props, an engineering marvel that brought the spectacles above to life.
The Hypogeum's design featured a large central corridor flanked by lateral passages. This layout facilitated the seamless movement of animals, performers, and props, ensuring the logistics of the games ran smoothly. Hundreds of workers coordinated the entrance of men and beasts into the arena through secret trapdoors, creating a dramatic appearance. The original system consisted of 28 lifts positioned along the outer rim of the arena. Each lift was designed to hoist caged animals directly onto the arena floor. At the core of the system was the captain, a large vertical drum driven by a central pole, with long levers or bars inserted into holes, and extending outward to give workers the leverage they needed to turn it. Operating each lift required a team of 8 workers. Animals were placed into cages through a side door. The cages were connected to the capstand via a rope threaded through a series of pulleys. As the capstand's drum rotated, the rope wound around it, gradually raising the cage. At the top of the lift, 2 large hinge arms support the trapdoor when closed. An operator would use a rope and pulley system to swing the arm downward, opening the trapdoor. The cage had a second door at the front, held closed by a counterweight. As the cage ascended and reached the bottom of the ramp, it would hit a stop that automatically opened the front door, allowing the animal to ascend the ramp directly into the amphitheater. In the central corridor, mobile platforms were frequently used to transport props like trees and rocks for the performances. These platforms were raised at an angle and guided through slots in the walls. The lifting was done by winches at the bottom, which pulled the platform using ropes that ran through a series of pulleys. When the middle of the platform reached the arena floor, it was flipped horizontally around a pivot point, aligning with the floor. The original lift served the Colosseum well, but as the games evolved, more lifts were added later in the street corridors. These new lifts were used to hoist both animals and performers. Similar to the original system, they were operated by a winch, pulling ropes running through a series of pulleys, while the trapdoors were controlled by a separate winch. 4 tunnels linked the Hypergem to external facilities like the Lotus Magnus. These hidden passages allowed fighters and animals to move discreetly from the training grounds to the arena, ensuring they remain unseen by the public until their dramatic entrances. The Valerium. The games often went on all day, from sunrise to sunset. However, summers in Rome are notoriously hot, and the white stone of the Colosseum only amplified the heat reflected by the sun's rays. Sitting in the bleachers all day under the blazing sun, especially during the summer months, would have been unbearable. To shade spectators from the hot Mediterranean sun, the seating area of the Colosseum was screened by a massive retractable awning called the Valium that only left the arena uncovered. The Valium consisted of long strips of fabric wound around drums, which were mounted on the wooden frame and supported by 240 masts fixed into sockets along the amphitheater's upper corners. Each strip of fabric could be deployed independently, using winches that pulled the fabric along pulleys mounted on the central ring of ropes. This process required at least 1 operator per section, with 240 sections in total. Deploying all sections of their Valerium simultaneously required a coordinated effort of at least 240 individuals. The central ring was raised and lowered by a system of ropes leading to pulleys attached at the top of the masts. These ropes were connected to winches located outside the Colosseum. The winches allowed to raise and lower the central ring, controlling the height and position of the fabric strips. The awning was retracted by turning the drums which wound the fabric back onto them. The Valerium wasn't conclusion, just a feat of engineering, but also a precursor for modern stadium design. The Colosseum was used for nearly 500 years, hosting some of the most spectacular events in history. Though its games have long ended, it still stands today, a testament to Roman ingenuity and a reminder of a civilization whose ambition shaped the world. We love making this video so much that we actually turned it into something you can keep. We've created this awesome Colosseum poster, and you can grab one right now to support the channel. Just check out the link in the description. And hey, we're giving one away too. Just drop a comment below telling us what's your favorite Colosseum fact from the video, and we'll announce the winner in the next upload. We also like to thank all our current Patreon and YouTube membership supporters. Your support makes videos like this possible.